Hello. Have you been learning Japanese for some time? Are you a beginner or advanced speaker? Whatever your proficiency is, I suspect your biggest frustration must be you don't feel you are truly communicating with the Japanese people. Am I correct? Do you feel distant from your Japanese customers, partners, and colleagues? Are you unsure whether they are speaking their true minds? Do you feel your talent and skills are not coming across in the best light? And you want to blame it on your language, learning, vocabulary, kanjis, or grammar. My name is Takashi Kawatani. I'm the author of Winning Together at Japanese Companies. I specialize in Japanese management and Asia-Pacific work cultures. I help people manage and lead cross-culturally. Well, if learning languages is your hobby, it's okay. You can spend a good part of your life learning it or chasing after it. But if you can't afford to spend years to learn the language, because life has other priorities, and yet you need to connect deeply with your customers and bosses, then you've got to change your learning strategies entirely. Focus on strategic phrases native Japanese decision makers, leaders use when they make important decisions. Who to trust, who to buy from, which ideas to adopt, and who to form joint venture with. I'm not a language teacher, but that's how I learned my English. My English is street English, as you are hearing it now. Despite that, I have managed to conduct cross-cultural management training for 20,000 managers and engineers, government officers, including diplomats and US military officers. I speak at graduate schools, international conferences, and have published a dozen books, including several English language books. I used to host my own internet English TV called Japan Spirit. You can still watch it on YouTube. If my performance were any guide, may I say, use your precious time wisely. Stop studying Japanese, start learning how to connect with them. Learning in a way, it enables you to get them on your side, not to up your test scores. Actually, there are people who speak excellent Japanese but cannot connect. And there are people who don't speak as good, but able to win confidence and get counted on. So there's a big disconnect. And even if you're not as fluent, but if you know how to use connecting phrases, business philosophies behind, and cross-cultural skills, you'll be very competitive in the job market, and your business deals will succeed much better than the other group of people. Well, that's what I mean by speaking Japanese cross-culturally. So it is quite possible for any 4 or 5 speakers to sound more reliable than any 1 or 2 speakers. And you will find Japanese customers or bosses starting to engage you more in real work, not a substitute for Japanese. If you are using your precious time of your life, why don't you use it only to get your job done? And another point is, I think it's better to be a little bit choosy about the language instructor. Do they know the reality of Japanese and non-Japanese working face-to-face in Japan or outside Japan? Their stress and frustration, being a non-Japanese and shattered dream of becoming a manager or leader, despite their years of contribution to the workplace. Now is the time for Japanese learners to connect emotionally with Japanese. Because the whole Japanese business industry is in dire need for such non-Japanese people to enable multicultural collaboration to happen. Japanese cannot do it alone. Collaboration, they cannot do it alone. And in fact, numerous trainees, Japanese expats around the world have told me that in their hearts, they are eager for you to step forward and help them drop their mask to connect. And I want you to become such a person. If this feels something that you've been thinking about, please listen to my next message. See you soon.